In a forest older than memory, where the wind carried secrets and the trees listened more than they spoke, there lived a tortoise and a snake. They shared the same land, drank from the same fading streams, and survived under the same sun, yet their lives moved in opposite directions. The tortoise walked slowly, not because it was weak, but because it had learned that haste often hides danger. Its shell was worn, marked by seasons of struggle, proof that survival favors those who endure rather than those who rush. The snake moved swiftly, confidently, striking fear wherever it passed. It believed speed was power and silence was weakness. It believed the world belonged to those who arrived first. And so, each day, the snake laughed at the tortoise. "Why do you move as if tomorrow does not matter?" the snake asked. The tortoise answered softly, "Tomorrow matters too much for me to waste today." And the forest listened. Because wisdom often speaks quietly. The snake boasted, "I am feared." Fear is respect. The tortoise replied, "Fear fades. Character remains." For many days, the snake hunted recklessly, chasing applause from the forest creatures. Each successful strike made it prouder, louder, more careless. The tortoise watched without envy. The tortoise believed something different. It believed that slow progress was still progress. It believed that preparation was invisible, but powerful. It believed that silence was not defeat, but discipline. And the tortoise whispered to itself, "I do not need to arrive first. I need to arrive whole." The forest changed with time. The rains delayed. The rivers thinned. The leaves dried and fell without warning. Hunger entered the land like an uninvited guest. The snake, once strong, began to weaken. Speed could not find food where food no longer rushed to exist. Venom could not create opportunity where patience was required. The tortoise adjusted. It conserved energy. It rested when needed. It moved only when movement mattered. And the forest revealed the truth. Hard times do not destroy everyone. They expose who depended on noise instead of wisdom. One evening, the snake attempted a reckless strike, driven by hunger and pride. The prey was too large. The effort failed. The venom was wasted. Strength drained from the snake's body. It collapsed beneath a tree it once ignored. The tortoise arrived slowly. The snake looked up and whispered, "Help me." The tortoise paused. Not out of hatred. Not out of pride. But out of understanding. Because wisdom does not rush into decisions emotions create. Then the tortoise said, "I will help you, but you must learn." And as the tortoise guided the snake to shelter, the forest held its breath. The snake wept. "I laughed at you," it said. "I mocked your pace." The tortoise replied, "The road teaches everyone differently. Pain is only wasted if it changes nothing." From that moment, the snake changed. Not overnight. Not dramatically. But truthfully. It learned restraint. It learned timing. It learned that power without control destroys its owner. And the tortoise continued forward. Slow. Steady. Uncelebrated. Years passed. The forest grew again. New creatures arrived. Old ones faded. But the story remained. That speed may impress, but patience builds legacy. That pride announces itself, but wisdom leaves footprints. That those who rush often return, but those who endure arrive. And the tortoise often reminded itself, "I am not slow. I am deliberate. I am not behind. I am protected. I am not weak. I am consistent." The snake, now wiser, taught others. Strike only when necessary. Silence is strength. Speed without purpose is exhaustion. And the forest carried these words like proverbs. A journey rushed is a lesson repeated. The loudest confidence often hides the deepest fear. Slow growth builds roots storms cannot uproot. What survives quietly lasts longest. The patient outlive the powerful. The disciplined outlast the gifted. They come so riches places the hurried never see. And so, if you feel slow in a fast world, remember the tortoise. If you feel tempted to rush, remember the snake. If the world laughs at your pace, let it laugh. Time listens only to those who endure. Walk gently. Move wisely. Trust the process. Because the race you are in is not against others. It is against giving up too early. And those who finish well are rarely those who began loudly. As the seasons continued their quiet rotation, the forest began to notice something unusual. The tortoise was still moving slowly, yet it was now moving with certainty. The snake was still swift, yet its movements had become thoughtful, measured, almost humble. The forest learned that growth does not always announce itself. The tortoise often paused beneath the shade of ancient trees, not to rest alone, but to reflect. It believed that reflection was movement of the mind. And the tortoise would whisper, "Before you rush forward, make sure you know where you are going." The snake, watching closely, began to understand that wisdom was not inherited by age alone, but earned by attention. Once, the snake asked, "How do you endure mockery without anger?" The tortoise replied calmly, "Because anger spends energy that patience invests." And the forest echoed a proverb. The one who cannot control emotion will always be controlled by circumstance. Days passed into weeks. Weeks folded into years. Challenges did not disappear, they only changed their shapes. Storms came without warning. Hunger returned in cycles. Fear knocked repeatedly. But something was different now. The tortoise no longer feared delay. The snake no longer worshipped speed. The tortoise believed, "I may arrive late, but I arrive prepared." The snake learned, being first is useless if you cannot remain. One night, under a moon that glowed like quiet wisdom, the snake spoke again. "I once believed fear made me powerful." The tortoise answered, "Fear creates distance. Respect creates legacy." And the forest offered another proverb. "Those who rule by fear sleep with one eye open." The snake began teaching younger creatures restraint, warning them gently. "Speed can save you," it said, "but wisdom will keep you alive." The tortoise listened silently, knowing that true lessons are confirmed when they are passed on. And the tortoise reminded itself, "Do not hurry growth. What matures too fast spoils early." The forest watched as the snake's reputation changed. It was no longer feared alone, it was trusted. And trust, the forest knew, was heavier than fear. Another proverb surfaced. "Fear walks ahead of you, trust walks behind you." The tortoise continued its journey, shell heavy with experience, heart light with peace. It whispered into the wind, "I have learned that slow progress with clarity is better than fast movement with confusion." And the wind carried the words far. As hardship returned once more, the snake did not panic. It waited. It observed. It chose wisely. And the tortoise smiled inwardly, understanding a deep truth. The lesson you ignore will repeat itself until you respect it. The forest stood as witness. Because wisdom does not shout. It settles. It stays. And those who listen long enough eventually hear it. Time moved forward the way it always does, quietly, without permission. The forest changed again, but something within it had settled. The restless had learned to pause. The proud had learned to bow. And those who once ran blindly had learned to watch their steps. The snake, once ruled by impulse, now moved with intention. Each motion carried thought. Each strike was weighed, not rushed. The forest no longer trembled at its presence, yet it respected it more than before. Redemption had come, not as a dramatic moment, but as a daily decision. The snake often reflected and whispered to itself, "Strength without wisdom is a weapon against its owner." And the forest answered with a proverb, "The knife that cuts without control will one day cut its holder." The tortoise watched these changes with quiet satisfaction. It did not celebrate loudly. It did not remind the snake of the past. Because wisdom does not keep records of forgiven mistakes. The tortoise believed, when a lesson is learned, the past loses its power. And so the tortoise continued its steady journey, knowing that legacy is not built in moments of applause, but in seasons of consistency. Younger creatures began to gather around the tortoise, drawn not by speed or noise, but by peace. They asked questions without speaking, and the tortoise answered by example. And the tortoise taught without words. Move at a pace your soul can sustain. The forest spoke another proverb. The path that lasts is the one walked with patience. As years passed, the snake began to guide others, not through fear, but through warning. It spoke gently of mistakes once made. I chased speed, the snake would say, and lost direction. I found wisdom only when I learned to wait. And the forest sealed the truth with a proverb. The one who survives the storm becomes the map. Redemption, the forest learned, is not about erasing the past. It is about using it to protect the future. The tortoise grew older. Its steps became fewer, but heavier with meaning. Each movement carried history. Each pause carried wisdom. And the tortoise reflected. I did not hurry to be seen. I walked to become. The snake, now calm and aware, honored the tortoise deeply. You taught me without chasing me, the snake said. You corrected me without crushing me. The tortoise replied softly. Correction without compassion creates rebellion. Compassion without truth creates confusion. The forest echoed one final proverb. The teacher who shouts is forgotten, the teacher who lives is remembered. When the tortoise finally slowed to near stillness, the forest did not mourn loudly. It understood that some lives finish speaking only after they stop moving. The tortoise's legacy remained in the rhythm of the forest, in patience, in restraint, in wisdom passed quietly from one life to another. And the snake continued forward, carrying the lesson forward, knowing that survival without wisdom is temporary, but wisdom shared is eternal. The forest held one final truth close. Those who rush will arrive again. Those who endure will arrive once and remain. Final wisdom settled like dawn. Do not envy fast beginnings. Honor strong endings. And the forest rested.